part 3 of our 3-part mini-series of why college is a scam. Point number 7 is what we're picking up. Number 7, college courses, the classes that you take when you go to college, they teach theory and information. They do not teach practical skills. Now, this is opposed to what a trade school does. A trade school teaches you how to do the thing. They show you and you actually hands-on do the thing. Whereas college, as a general rule, I know, yes, there are some college courses and classes where you do actually do the thing. But the general concept of college is that you get taught theory, like how things are supposed to work, and information. In other words, what happens here and there, and it's information words in a textbook or on a chalkboard or on a projector slide. You are not taught practical skills. You're not out there actually in the field doing the thing when you're in college. You're in a classroom talking about the thing and reading about the thing and listening to someone else talk about the thing, but you're not actually doing it yourself. In other words, when you graduate from school with a degree in ABC, you haven't actually done much of ABC. Yes, you may do an internship. Yes, you may get a summer job, but you spent 4 years for the most part learning theory and information, not actually doing shit. Is this true or not? Now, somebody can check me on this if I got it wrong. You don't know something until you've done it. There are 5 levels of expertise. And the 3rd level is when you start actually doing it. The next level is when you actually, 2nd level is when you do it. The next level is when you can teach it. The next level is when you can get paid to teach it. And the level after that is when they seek you out to pay you to teach it. Those are the levels of knowledge. If you are just consuming information on the subject, you don't know shit. You can read every book you want on marketing. Until you go and actually do some marketing, you don't know a damn thing about marketing. You understand? So going to college for a certain subject and graduating does not mean you know anything on the subject. It just means you read a bunch of books and you regurgitated the indoctrination that was given to you. That's what it means. And again, I say this as a college degree holder. So reading a book and passing a test does not mean you know anything. This is one point upon which many college graduates and advanced degree holders, those who tend to put themselves above others who don't have degrees, they tend to get quiet when I make this point. So let me make it again. Reading a book and passing a test based on that book does not mean that you know anything. It just means you read the book and you passed the test. That's what it means. Congratulations, you read the book and passed the test. You got this piece of paper that says you did that for 4 years, called a degree, but it doesn't mean you know anything. You don't know anything. The problem that people in this group have with people like me saying what I'm saying is that I'm basically invalidating what they spent 4 years or 6 years or 8 years doing to get that degree. That's why they don't like talking to me. And they can't pull the sour grape fallacy on me. Sour grapes fallacy is that, oh, you're just hating on other people who have a degree because you don't have one, because I have one. So they can't use that on me. And there's nothing really they can say to me. Since they can't use that, there's really nothing else they can say. So they get quiet, or they want to silence me, and they can't silence me, so they block me again on social media when I say this directly to them. This is one point, again, many college graduates and advanced degree holders especially, they really don't like this point. They really don't like this, especially I run into every now and then some young college graduates, people under the age of 25 who have college degrees, who want to talk about what they studied in school as if that makes them somebody. And I point out to them very calmly and logically, I may add, that just the fact that you went to school and got a degree is proof that you don't know shit. And the fact that you brought that up as a defense of yourself is proof that you have not achieved anything professionally. Because anyone who's achieved something professionally doesn't mention their degree, in my experience. Now, there are some people who do. Let me take that back. People who have graduated from college and they have a professional resume of accomplishments usually don't or don't need to mention that they graduated from college. I graduated from college. If we weren't talking about college as a subject and I was just talking about myself, I would not be telling you that I have a college degree. Who cares that I have a college degree? And anyway, my professional accomplishments supersede my college degree. In other words, if I had to list everything about me and pick the most impressive things, the college degree would not make the list. It wouldn't make the top 20. So I don't have to mention it. Why would I mention it? It's not worth anything. I got other things that are worth a lot more. And what happens is when I'm talking to a young person, let's say under the age of 25 or maybe under the age of 30, and I'm challenging them on some point. I've had this happen on social media multiple times. Somebody will start talking about their college degree. Like that's the first thing out of their mouths, that they have a college degree. I'm like, mofo, who the hell cares if you've got a college degree? And as a matter of fact, the fact that that's the first thing out of your mouth to defend yourself is that you have a college degree is proof that you have no professional accomplishments. Because if you have professional accomplishments, you would lead with that instead of leading with your degree. You get it? So if you start noticing these things about people, and maybe it's just when they're talking to me, I don't know. But you tell me, and any of you guilty of this, Again, if the shoe fits, wear it, motherfucker. I'm not the one who did it to you. All right, you can take the shoes off if you want to. But I do also see advanced degree holders tend to be very guilty of this. We got any advanced degree holders listening to this, listening to me right now? Most of them have probably turned my show off and said, I'll never listen to this guy ever again. Fuck him. But those of you who have lasted, a lot of advanced degree holders put this as the first thing on their resume 30 years after they graduated from college. They're still telling you that they're a PhD. They're still telling you that they have a master's. They're still telling you that they have a law degree. 30 years after they got it, 10 years, 15 years after they got it, when they have other professional accomplishments that they should be mentioning, they mention this at the beginning. This is what we call, and actually it depends on how they use it, but what often happens, and I've clashed with a few of these people online, they use what we call the appeal to authority fallacy. The appeal to authority fallacy is the concept that you should listen to what a person says because of their alleged authority based on their credentials. In other words, you should listen to what a doctor says because they're a doctor. Not because of what they actually said, but because they're a doctor, you should listen to them before you listen to me. I told you all this story that I have a friend who has a child that's similar in age to my child, and he said he was taking his son to the doctor to get a whole bunch of vaccinations. And he asked me, did you take your kid to get vaccinations? I said, my kid has not received any shots, no vaccinations. He said, why not? I said, well, what's in those vaccinations that you're getting, that you're putting in your kid? He couldn't answer the question. And at that point, he got a little bit defensive. And he said, well, Dre, I know that you're not a doctor and you know that I'm not a doctor. So why would you not do what the doctor says? The doctor says get shots for your kid. Actually, what he said to me, he said, what does the doctor say when you said you're not going to get shots for your kids? I said, I don't give a fuck what the doctor says. I'm a parent. My position as a parent supersedes the doctor's position as a doctor. And he said, well, you're not a doctor. Why would you go against what a doctor says? I said, I just told you why. And his whole thing was, well, why would you not listen to a doctor? He couldn't get off this point. Why would you not listen to a doctor? That's what we call the appeal to authority fallacy. That's not to say that the doctor doesn't know things, any of you doctors who are listening to this, but it does say that as a parent, I don't give a damn what the doctor says. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'll take input from the doctor, but the ultimate decision is made by me, not by the doctor. That's how it works. Now, if you're not willing to stand on that type of opinion and you can't defend that type of opinion, well, I guess you have no choice but to do what the doctor tells you to do. This is why many people fall for the appeal to authority fallacy, because they don't know how to challenge authority. And when someone holds their authority up in front of you as a shield against anything or as a defense mechanism of anything that they say, many people don't know how to respond to that, so you just go along complying with anything that's told to you. I'm a little bit different, if you can't tell. So this is what a lot of advanced degree holders do. They use their credentials as a shield against challenge. So you all saw this, all of you were alive 4 or 5 years ago when we had that virus called COVID. When that virus was around, anybody who dared challenge the dogma that was being indoctrinated into us, you have to be 6 feet apart from each other, you have to wear a mask, you have to go get the jab. Anybody who challenged any of those things, if someone didn't like the fact that you were challenging it, what was the common response that people gave you? Well, are you a doctor? What'd you get your PhD in? Have you written any peer-reviewed journals? Oh, I didn't know that you were a doctor. Oh, everybody's a doctor all of a sudden, LOL. All right, this is the appeal to authority fallacy. Just because a person with a certain level of authority says something does not make it true, doesn't mean you should listen to it. If that's the way you make your decisions, you're a fool. All right, they talk about that guy over in Germany, Adolf Hitler, and they said that he did some terrible things because people were following his authority. So why is it that you should be smart enough to not, and then they tried to, what's the word, analogize Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, right? Hadn't people tried to do that? They're still trying to do it to this very day. So the whole thing was, since Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler, we should resist him, even though he has authority, right? We shouldn't listen to the authority because we believe the authority is wrong. But at the same time, those exact same people will turn around and say you should listen to Dr. Fauci because he's a doctor and he is the leading doctor in America, and anything he says about the vaccine, you should follow it just because he has authority. So which one is it? We shouldn't listen to Trump's authority because he's bad, but we should listen to Dr. Fauci's authority because he's good. Well, who's the arbiter of bad versus good? So you see how these things start falling apart when you actually challenge them in a critical way? This is why you got to be a critical thinker, folks. This is why being a critical thinker is such an important thing. If you didn't listen to my 2-part series on how to be a critical thinker, that was episode number 1826 and 1827. You must develop your critical thinking skills so that you can challenge people who throw this bullshit in your face. Because they will throw this bullshit in your face, and if you don't have a way of pushing back against it, then they'll just walk all over top of you with that exact same bullshit, and they'll use their authority to shut you up. Just because a person has a position does not mean you should listen to them. I don't care who it is, and I don't care what they're saying. Doesn't mean they are wrong, but also doesn't mean that they're right. That's what critical thinking means. Critical thinking doesn't mean reject everything. It just means you don't accept anything on the surface level. That's what it means. So again, advanced degree holders, they don't really like talking to me. So there's no pushback to what I just said. There's no pushback to this. This is why people, again, who have degrees and advanced degrees, they go get jobs, they still get trained from the ground up, even though they have a degree. All right, again, why are you getting trained from the ground up if you had to get an advanced degree just to get the job in the first place? You went to school to get the degree so you could be qualified, quote unquote, for the job. And now the job is training you as if you didn't learn anything in school. Can anybody make that sense? Can anyone make that make sense? If you can, you be the first. I haven't been able to make it make sense. I've been trying. Now let me tell you how it makes sense in a tongue-in-cheek way. College does not mean that you know anything. I already told you that. You don't know something until you've done it. I already told you that. You don't truly know it until you've done it and you can teach it. Right? And I'm adding both pieces. You got to do it and teach it to truly know it. You can't just be teaching it, because there are teachers in school, no disrespect to the teachers who listen to this, there are teachers in school teaching subjects on which they have no activity knowledge. Your history teacher in school is not a historian. Your math teacher is not a mathematician. Your science teacher is not a scientist. Your gym teacher is not an athlete or a physical therapist or an expert in conditioning, sports conditioning, and body movements, but they're teaching these subjects. So just because you teach a subject does not mean you actually know it. You have to have done it and be teaching it. That's when you truly know it. I can teach entrepreneurship because I have done it, I'm doing it, and I can explain it. Basketball, I have done it and I can explain it. Writing books, I've done it and I can explain it. I'm not just explaining something that I know in theory. That's what I mean. That's why I say school teaches theory. Your teachers and your college professors learn the theory of the subjects that they're teaching. There are people in colleges teaching law who have never actually practiced law. Tell me how that makes sense. How are you teaching something you've never actually done? Because you got a degree in it? So that means you understand all the theory and you've read all the books and maybe even been in some courthouses and studied cases, et cetera, but you've never actually practiced law, but you're teaching law to students who want to be lawyers. Tell me how that makes sense. And the students are paying $60,000 a semester to learn from you, even though you've never done the thing. Somebody explain to me how that makes sense? See, in the real world, you can't get away with that. I couldn't teach entrepreneurship to people if I wasn't actually doing entrepreneurship. People would say, well, you're not an entrepreneur, Jerry. Why are you teaching entrepreneurship? It doesn't make sense. But on college campuses, they do this every day. Again, make it make sense. On college campuses, every day, you got people teaching subjects they have never actually done any professional work in, and you're paying tens of thousands of dollars a semester to learn from these alleged experts. They're not experts, alleged experts on these subjects who will hold their authority above your head if you dare question them. I got a degree in this. So have you actually done it? Again, somebody answer the question. This is not a rhetorical question. It is, because you can't talk back to me, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm making this distinction clear. You don't know something until you've done it and you are teaching it. Because there are many school teachers, I just said this, college professors are teaching shit and they never even done. That means they read the book and they can teach you what's in the book. That's not the same as really knowing the subject. I don't need a book to teach you basketball. I know it. I don't need a book to teach you entrepreneurship. If I do use a book to teach you entrepreneurship, it's gonna be my fucking book, one that I wrote. Because I know what I'm doing. Because I've actually done it. Do you understand? So that's not the same as knowing something. Please understand this detail and do not underestimate it. Point number 8. Today's topic, once again, is why college is a scam. Number 8, where's all the money going? I mean, we're talking about all this money, right? And college being the main thing that makes college a scam is the money that they're charging. Now, if college was free, we wouldn't be talking about this. Where's all the money going? Let's talk about that. Have you ever been to a college campus? Any of you? I've been to a bunch of college campuses, man. And every one I've been to, at least the ones that are in like college towns, they are beautiful. The ones that are nestled in the middle of a city, they're not always so nice. Like Temple University is right in the middle of North Philly. I mean, it's a nice campus, but when I think of a college campus, I'm not thinking of like Temple in the middle of the city or NYU in the middle of New York. I'm talking about a college campus that's like in a college town. Like State College, Pennsylvania is Penn State. Penn State is State College. The University of Tennessee is Knoxville. I've been there. Beautiful campus. FAU is in Boca Raton, Florida. Beautiful campus. FIU is in the, what part of Miami is that? Southern part of Miami, and FIU is okay. It's a city campus, not my thing. University of Miami in Coral Gables, beautiful college campus. I'm trying to think of other colleges. I've been to so many. Stanford University, man, that is one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever seen. University of Pennsylvania is in the middle of the city of Philadelphia, but it's an Ivy League school and they charge a lot of money. Beautiful campus, even though it's in the middle of the city. Beautiful campus, University of Pennsylvania. What's another one I've been to? I've been to so many I can't remember them all, but that's enough. All of you seen college campuses before, the ones that are in like college towns, like college towns. Those campuses are beautiful and pristine, are they not? Is the grass always perfectly manicured? Now, the exception I give to HBCUs. I've seen some HBCU campuses, they go like the fucking projects, like the ghetto. Different conversation that we might talk about on a different day. I didn't go to an HBCU, almost did. It cost too much money, interestingly enough. But anyway, college campuses are beautiful places. The administrations, beautiful buildings. The professors get paid well. The staff gets paid well. The dormitories. All these things are for-profit business things. And all of them cost money. And where's the money coming from? You. You might not be paying it now. You're going to pay it later. All the money's coming from you. The beauty of those college campuses, the fact that the lawns are always perfectly manicured, that everything is always clean, there's no trash on the ground, that the dorms look great, that the food in the cafeterias are amazing, that the professors are well paid, that the staff is well paid, that the administration is so thick with so many people and so many departments is because of your money. That's you paying them. That's your money that's making that college campus so beautiful. That's why they're such beautiful places. This is why college towns are great places to live. If you want to build a family or retire somewhere, move to a college town. Beautiful place to live. Relatively safe, nice town, and there's plenty of money going around there because that college campus is paying for everything. Right? It's paying for everything. Now, again, this does not include HBCU campuses. And there are some nice HBCU campuses, historically black colleges and universities, but I've seen some HBCU campuses that look like the fucking projects. Like, no joke. I'm not even going to name the schools, but I've seen some of them. I'm like, this is a college campus? What the hell is this? This is the ghetto. I remember I'll name one, give you an example. When I was, my first year out of college, my first job was working at this place called Foot Locker. All of you have heard of Foot Locker. And I was working at this mall called the Granite Run Mall outside of Philadelphia, it's the south of Philadelphia, in a town called Media, next to Chester. And one of my coworkers, actually she wasn't a coworker, actually she was. One of my coworkers, she was in school going to, I believe it's Lincoln University, which is an HBCU right outside of Philadelphia. It was about 20 minutes away from my job at the Granite Run Mall. And there was another girl who worked in the mall. Did she go there? I think she did. She worked in the mall at a different store, but we met. We just randomly met in the mall. Because when you're in the mall every day, you start meeting other people from other stores. And she went to Lincoln as well. And one day she said to me, at the time I had braids in my hair. This is back when I didn't shave my head. And I had braids in my hair. So I wanted to get my braids done and I was looking for someone to do it. And she said, well, my roommate or whoever it was can do your braids. You just come to our dorm at the campus. So I go down there to the dorm of, I believe this was Lincoln University. It was either Lincoln or it was Cheney. Actually, it might have been Cheney. It was either Lincoln or Cheney. One of those schools is right outside of Philadelphia. Let me see if I can find it on the Google Maps. So I make sure I'm naming the right school because I don't want to trash the school that I'm not really trying to trash. So Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, where is this place located? Lincoln University is in Lower Oxford Township. Let me see where this is relative to. No, it wasn't Lincoln. I'm sorry, Lincoln University. So anybody from Lincoln University, listen to this. Y'all were not the ones that I should be trashing. I think it was, let me check. Where is Cheney at? I'm looking. Philadelphia is here. I'm pretty sure it was Cheney. I'm pretty sure it was Cheney University. Let me see how far it is. I'm looking this up on my my Google Maps. See if I can, let's see. Granite Run Mall. No, that's wrong. Granite Run Mall is what I'm looking for. So I can compare the distance because I remember driving there and I'm just trying to find where this was. Granite Run Mall. So give me Granite Run Mall Road, but they're not giving me Granite Run. So I don't know, maybe they tore the mall down and they didn't rebuild it. But anyway, I believe it was either Cheney or Lincoln. I'm sorry. The maps is not giving me a good information here as to which college campus this was. I'm pretty sure it was one of those. All I know, here's what I know for sure. It was an HBCU. All right, so let's just leave it at that. Whatever school it was that I went to go see this girl to get my braids done, it was an HBCU, and this is the part that I really want to get to. This place was like the fucking ghetto. I mean, I was walking through the dorms. I felt like I was in somebody's like apartment buildings in the hood. Right? There's music coming out. There's weed smoke everywhere. People giving you dirty looks. I'm like, this is a college campus. So like, what the hell is going on here? Like, really? When I parked my car and I'm walking around the campus to get to the building, I'm like looking over my shoulder. Like, you never do that when you're walking around Penn State. You don't do that walking around in at at Coral Gables at University of Miami. You don't do that walking around in Boca. When I was walking around here, I was looking over my shoulder like, yo, like this, like people were standing on the corner like they were drug dealers. I'm like, this is crazy. So anyway, I'm bringing all that up to say I'm not talking about HBCUs. All right, when I say these college campuses are pristine, beautiful places. Now there may be some beautiful HBCUs, and maybe it's beautiful now. This is 20 years ago, but back then that shit was not beautiful. So anyway, many of the college campuses I've seen, and most of them are in the PWI category, which stands for predominantly white institutions. They are based in towns, not cities. So they're always beautiful, very well kept. That's because the school has so much money that it can keep it looking good. That's the point. They can pay all their faculty and staff. That's why they have great food in the cafeteria, because your money is paying for it. Always remember that. Point number 9. We are talking here today about how college is a scam. Point number 9, one give back. Okay, as I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but let me make sure I make this give back clear to the college advocates who are listening to this and disagreeing with everything that I'm saying, that there are areas such as medicine, law, and engineering, and education itself where you need to get a degree. So go get one. If you're in school, stay in school if you want to do one of these things. You want to be a professor before the college tuition bubble bursts and you can't make money anymore being a professor, go get a degree, okay? It is required. Otherwise, for most of the rest of you, you are in some way, shape, or form getting scammed. I suggest that you start scamming back. That's what I suggest. Just like I told you, I would go to college again, but I would scam the college. I wouldn't let the college scam me. I'm going to use that experience to talk to as many girls as I can, play as much sports as I can, and socialize as much as I can so I get something I can take out of it with me for the rest of my life, and it ain't going to be something I got in the classroom. Make sure they're not scamming you. So the point here is to balance out everything else that I've said. So I'm gonna give back 1 point to the college advocates while I trash you on the other 8. So there are certain careers for which a degree is necessary, and you should aspire to go to school, maybe even extra school, just to get the degree. You want to be a doctor? Okay, go to school. Just make sure you want to be a doctor, because once you are in it, you're gonna be in school till you're fucking 30. Okay, you better make sure you want to be a doctor. All right, because that's a lot of money you got to pay back. And I've had some coaching clients of mine who were in the medical space, and they literally didn't get out of school till they were 30. And this is straight from high school to college. All right, so it takes a long time and there's a lot of money. So make sure that's what you really want to do. Lawyers, same thing. Lawyers is not as much time, but it's a similar situation. And I know college professors, same thing. Went and got advanced degrees so they can get higher level jobs. Make sure that's what you want to do, because you're sinking a lot of costs into that you can't recoup if you decide to get out. Now, if you decide to get out, you don't really get anything for it. Maybe a good story, hopefully. But depending on what you want to do, make sure you're making a decision. Making sure you're making a decision you're going to stick with, because you got to live with that. And you can drop out of the industry, but damn, all that sunk cost. It's hard for human beings to reconcile that. So I've heard many stories. Some of you are these stories of people who went and got a degree, even an advanced degree, just so they can get to a certain industry, only to get into the industry and realize that they don't want to be in that industry. I know a lot of people with law degrees who got into the legal space and realized, I don't want to be a lawyer. Within the first year of being a lawyer, said, oops, wrong idea. Lawyers who stopped being lawyers, doctors who got out of the medical space. Again, I've coached doctors who've gotten out of the medical space even after all their years getting into the medical space. At least the medical world that requires a degree that you have, let's say, because there's a lot of different levels. Teachers who left the educational system, I know a lot of them. Good news about the world we live in today is that you can serve people, make money, and have a career outside of working within these systems that we've been discussing, especially ones that require any college granted credentials. It is possible, as of today's recording, for you to safely and easily escape the matrix, but you have to undo the programming that has been done to you. The biggest part of escaping the matrix is the way that you think. It's not the physical actions. Physical actions are relatively easy when you get your mind when you untether your mind from what you've been taught and indoctrinated with all your life. That's really the hard part, is getting your mind out of it. And that applies to any aspect of life, by the way. You can pretty much do anything. The instructions for how to do it are out there and easy to follow. The hardest part for all of us is untethering our mind from the programming that we've given ourselves over the course of our lives. And that applies to college as well as it applies to everything else. So recapping this third part of our mini series here, why college is a scam. Number 7, college courses teach theory and information. They do not teach practical skills. You don't know something until you have done it. Reading a book and passing the test does not mean that you know something. You don't know it till you've done it and you can teach it. That's when you truly know it. You have to have both, doing it and teaching it. Number 8, where's all the money going? When you see a beautiful college campus, I'm not talking about HBCUs. These are so beautiful and the food is so good and everybody's well paid because they are paying for everything with your money. That's your loan money you're going to be paying back that makes that college campus so beautiful. So you better enjoy it. And again, that's why I said if I go back to college, I'm taking full advantage of everything other than the classes. All right, number 9, one give back. medicine, law, engineering, you want to be a college professor, go to college, pay attention in class, and get your degree. All right, you actually do need to be a good student. All the rest of you, you might be getting scammed. All right, you need to look at your situation and ask yourself, what do I really need out of this in terms of where I want to go professionally, career-wise? And if you're not sure where you want to go professionally, career-wise, I suggest you build relationships, because relationships last all of life, regardless of how good your grades are. When you get out of school, very few people will ever ask you what your grades were when you were in school. All right, so keep that in mind as you move forward through life. All that said, you want to work with me directly, have me as your direct coach. You see my style. You see how I talk. You see that I'm no nonsense, no fluff, straight to the point. This is what our coaching members say. What they like most about my style is that you are no nonsense, no BS, no fluff approach. And these are people from the medical space to people writing books, to people teaching music, to people in finance, to people who have food businesses, to people who are in the media space. I work with a lot of different people in a lot of different industries, because my main skill is my ability to take complex topics and make them simple enough for anyone to apply and understand. And I do it with the kind of approach you've heard on this show every single day. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com if you are the next contestant. Work on your game. Dre all